Horror Hangout podcast where two bearded film fans watch the best horror movies of all time. My name is Luca Condo with Kate, and I'm joined by my regular co-host, Mr.
Ben Errington.
Mr. Ben Errington. How's it going?
It's going all right, mate. How the devil are you?
So I've had a long day and a peanut butter sandwich. So all bets are off. No idea what's going to happen here.
Yeah, you look very snug as well. I mean, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guesstimate these layers. There's at least 3 I could see visible.
I think I've got 2 t-shirts on as well. It's like 2 degrees, and I think I can sometimes see my breath. So
you can sometimes see your breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not good. But you've been banished to the garage.
I am. Yeah, but it's good here, man.
I'm joking. I know you've not been banished. I could do what I want, mate. Yeah. If I want, I could smoke 12 cigars in a row. That'd take a long time, but
at a time
if you
in
wanted
a row.
to.
If you wanted to,
you could down a whole bottle of Lambrini.
I was planning to, right after this podcast.
Why not during?
What about you? How are you? Have you had any peanut butter? Oh, you got any Pepsi Max?
Pepsi Max. I haven't had any peanut butter for a while, you know. Although I did have like some sort of peanut butter dessert recently. I had like peanut brittle on it.
What? Okay.
Yeah, it was delightful. It was like a tub or something. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't quite ice cream, but I had peanut brittle on the top, and you had to crack into it and eat it. But I ate it in about 14 seconds.
That's like the Milky Bar yogurts. Like they taste so good, but they're gone so quick. Maybe that's why they taste so good. Like because you know it's fleeting.
Yeah,
it's
Milky
like
Bar.
Stand.
The Rolo ones are pretty good as well.
Yeah,
a one night stand.
They go in like one spoonful as well for me.
I can eat them in one spoon. Yeah, because you get one spoonful, which is like the main.
Yeah.
And
then hundreds of tiny spoonfuls. You're trying to get like the little bits off the bottom. Yeah.
I'd rather find a way of just like getting every bit of content from that pot into my mouth in one go without having a need
Maybe you can squeeze it like Popeye and just get it all in. But Kat does like a death by a million cuts sort of approach where she'll have like a tiny little bit on a spoon and it will last for hours. But she just because she wants to.
Is anyone getting pleasure from that?
Well, yeah, she wants to sort of extend her. But I think the more in my mouth at the same time, the more intense.
I think just eat like a multi-pack of them.
Yeah, that's for one person. That should be right.
Yeah, there's like 4 in a pack. I mean, I'll eat that in one go. Screw it.
Yeah, and I won't have any regrets either. Like sometimes you eat some stuff and it's like I probably shouldn't, but no, I did.
I probably shouldn't. But I'm just gonna close my eyes and not look at the ingredients and how much.
Or the mirror.
Or the fat, or the mirror ever again.
Yeah. Well, so it's Oscar period. It's the period of Oscars. People are doing some Oscars. I don't really follow these sort of things. Like,
don't really follow Oscar.
Like, are you the kind of person who watches the awards and stuff?
I quite like the Oscars. I mean, I know it's thought of as being a bit of a love-in for a various group of the Hollywood elites, but still, I kind of enjoy it because I think sometimes it does shine a light on various films that. I mean, I like it simply because it gives me the chance to go, I haven't seen that. So out of the eight Best Picture nominations, I've seen 5 this year, which is pretty good going. So I've got a few more to catch up with. But I think it's pretty good because obviously Black Panther's got a nomination, the first Marvel superhero film to get like a Best Picture.
You know, I don't think it's the best Marvel film. I'd say, like, if any Marvel film was going to get that, I wish it was a
Winter Soldier.
One. Yeah, Winter Soldier, something like that. Yeah, there's some great ones.
So yeah, I guess I wanted to bring up the Oscars just to discuss the lack of horror in the nominations and what that means and why. I guess like the obvious omission would have been Hereditary and perhaps Toni Collette's performance, and possibly the screenplay and possibly the cinematography for both of those films, which I thought were both pretty good. But yeah, they've not been included. I don't think they've got many awards from the big ones like Golden Globes and BAFTA and anything like that. Yeah. I'm sure of like if there are any horror awards. Yes, I think A Quiet Place has received an award, possibly for sound.
That kind of makes sense. The lack of it.
Yeah.
The less sound, the more chance you've got of winning.
Yeah.
Understood.
So I think it receives an Oscar nomination for best sound editing. A Quiet Place does. So a lot of websites are saying, Toni Collette snubbed, but I think you kind of guess who was going to get the nomination based on what has come previously, even in the Critics' Choice Awards, Golden Globes and stuff like that. So Toni Collette hasn't been nominated for those. So for her to be nominated by the Academy is probably. Yeah. But I'm reading here on the Bloody Disgusting website. This is one of the most vicious snubs in recent history.
I wouldn't say. Oh, wow, I don't know. Maybe
I don't know if it's vicious. I always feel like, are these things vicious? Because people get snubbed, but then someone else, someone else is going to have to not get a nomination for that person to get one.
And then
Lady Gaga's been nominated.
Yeah.
Is that horror?
No. You like that film, A Star Is Born?
I like that film. I think as time's gone by, maybe I've
cooled off.
I've cooled off on it a bit. Yeah. But yeah, Rami Malek's been nominated for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody, which is lovely. Loads of nominations for Black Klansman, which is my film of the year for last year, including Best Supporting Actor Adam Driver, which I thought he was great in that film. But Spike Lee, Best Director nomination, Best Picture. Yeah, all pretty good. But yeah, a glaring omission for horror. What do you think should have been included for horror, or if anything?
Well, I mean, there's the alternative. Fangoria magazine have got their Chainsaw Awards. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Have you been through and voted? It's quite fun to see.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's good.
But I think maybe I should. Are votes still open?
Yeah. If you just go on the Fangoria Twitter, it's near the top of the page there. But, there's what I got here for best wide release movies. We've got Halloween by David Gordon Green, Hereditary by Ari Aster, Overlord, Julius Avery, A Quiet Place, John Krasinski, and Upgrade is in there as well by Lee Winnell.
Oh yeah.
So there's loads of cool stuff here. Fangoria, it's where horror fans sort of go to a fair bit. So I think for us, I mean, it'd be nice to sort of see.
Yeah,
people get celebrated here.
Cool. I think I'll go through that and put some votes on. Maybe put some stuff on Twitter as well. I think I've seen most of the films that are listed here.
Well, so I was going through it, and it reminded me a lot of our top 10 list, because a lot of them do sort of feature.
We got our fingers on the pulse, man.
There's a thing in here about the film we're talking about today, which I picked as the best thing of that category. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'll let you know what it is in a sec. But yeah. Yeah,
you better let me know. Have you watched anything this week?
Yeah, so I popped in. I've got a Blu-ray of The Howling. Joe Dante's The Howling. Have you seen The Howling before?
Nice. I think so, but again, not for a long time. That's a classic.
So it came out around the same time as An American Werewolf in Paris, London even. I beg your pardon. And both of those sort of are in what they say like the top 3 werewolf movies, along with Wolfen. But I don't think Wolfen is necessarily a werewolf movie. But it's directed by Joe Dante, who did Gremlins, so it's still got a sort of Gremlins-y feel, but it's a lot more mature than that. The special effects are by Rob Bottin, who did the special effects in The Thing. So in this film, it's kind of sleazy in some way. It starts off a bit sleazy, because there's like our main character is getting obscene phone calls and stuff from a werewolf, and then he invites her to
not in werewolf form, right?
No, I think so. There's a lot of like half and half in like transformations in this. But so she goes to meet him in a pawn shop, but she's a reporter, and then she doesn't get bit, but she sees a bit of him, or he gets shot, and to overcome this sort of traumatic experience of being hounded by this wolf, she goes to like a retreat for people who are in similar positions. Little does she know that everyone in the retreat is actually a clan of werewolves who I don't know if they're there to eat her or if they're there to try and turn her. It doesn't really become very clear. But it's the transformation scenes are amazing. Like, I think they're better than an American Werewolf in London.
Wow.
There's one bit where like a werewolf gets his arm cut off, and then you just stay on this werewolf arm, for about 3 minutes, and it bubbles. Like, the Gremlins effects, they always kind of bubbled and popped and stuff. It does a similar thing to that, but then it just suddenly magically turns into a human hand that's still sort of moving around. I was like, what? How did they even do that? It's very, very cool. But the special effects, so it's almost like they said they knew that this was their money shots, and they do go on, but you just can't look away. It's about 10 minutes just looking at a guy's face that's like,
now I'm looking at some screenshots from it. I don't think I've seen it. So it's early 80s, right?
81, I think. Yeah, but it is great. I think I prefer the American Werewolf in London's tone and comedy or like the sort of London stuff.
Is this more like straight up horror then?
It starts off like I said, like a bit more even cold and sleazy, a bit more Cronenbergian in a way. But then about halfway through, it's almost like Joe Dante decided to just Gremlins it up, and everyone starts turning into wolves, and the craziness happens. It goes a bit Gremlins too, not wacky or that wacky, but it's a bit sillier.
Would you recommend it then? Because I'm quite a big fan of the old werewolf genre, and the fact that I haven't seen this might be a bit.
I think just for special effects,
a glaring omission.
Yeah, I felt the same way. So I'm glad I felt.
So what did you got it on Blu-ray? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll bring it down to you.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. Bring it down to me. Give it to me, and I'll go. See you later, mate.
What about you?
Be gone.
Any gifts or anything?
Well, I haven't really watched all that much. I've started the new series of True Detective, which is good, dark, brooding, very immersive, twisty, turny. Great stuff. Obviously, a new cast.
How's it compared to
good.
season 1?
It's a nice story. I think it's very similar to season 1. It's gone for a very similar tone. Obviously, very different characters. But I think they've gone back to their roots. They tried to recreate something from the first series, because obviously a lot of critically the second series didn't hit home. I like the second series, but not quite as much as the first.
The first season, I rewatch it. I think I've seen it 3 times now.
Yeah, it's great. And there's loads of iconic moments in this, and the script is great as well. So yeah, I highly recommend that. I also saw Glass this weekend. M. Night Shyamalan's final part to the unexpected trilogy, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard not fantastic things about it.
Yeah,
but I can kind of see that coming, because I mean, Split and Unbreakable, had a long time to develop, and they were completely separate. And then this Glass came along, and it was like a year, and it just pop out.
It happened really quickly.
The tone doesn't seem to quite have isn't as maturely put together as. It
feels like it leans too heavily now on the comic book. So obviously it was trying to create a superhero comic book film. They're so grounded in reality.
Yeah.
That it is almost shocking that the subject matter is about superheroes and stuff. Now they kind of just start leaning heavily on the fact that hey, this is a superhero film. This isn't a comic book, There's that too much, and I just found it to be underwhelming, frustrating. Great performances, particularly from James McAvoy and Samuel Jackson. I think Bruce Willis kind of fades into the background a little bit, which is ironic considering that's what his character is kind of all about. But I think the atmosphere isn't there. Yeah. The twists were. It wasn't that I saw them coming, but they were just like Yeah. An ending which is like nonsensical, really, and I've seen the ending slated a lot. It kind of just feels like, oh god, what a load of nonsense.
What a load of dog eggs. Yeah.
What a load of dog eggs. So yeah.
Okay.
I think it cuts off the potential of what could have been.
Yeah.
A really good trilogy, but it just feels like it promises something that's really grand scale, and eventually it all kind of plays out in a very simple and almost rushed way, I'd say.
That's a shame.
It's worth a watch if you enjoy the other two. Definitely, it's nice to round off everything. Yeah. I'm being familiar with these characters. Seeing them on screen again is enjoyable, but I just think other than that, it did little for me.
Okay. I think I will watch it, but I'm not. Like I said, I could just kind of something like the advertising and stuff just never really sold me anyway. So
yeah,
we'll wait till it's on Netflix or something. Yeah. But yeah, so should we crack on with today's film?
Sure thing.
It isn't on the IGN Top 100. It is a new release. Came out last year, but it's just popped onto online streaming and digital. It is the remake of Suspiria. Have you got some deets?
Man's got the deets. So Suspiria. Oh well, that's a good start.
So that's his review.
Suspiria is a 2018 supernatural psychological horror film directed by Luca Guadagnino.
Sure.
Sure. I mean, I've ruined that. Inspired by the 1977 Italian film of the same name, directed by Dario Argento. So it stars Dakota Johnson as an American woman who enrolls at a prestigious dance academy in 1977 Berlin that is run by a coven of witches. That's that's thrown into the plot pretty quick, sharp, isn't it? That there are coven of witches. In the original,
within the first 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
What's the name? Starts talking about it.
Yeah, so obviously spoilers here for this film, but also spoilers for the original, the 1977 Italian film of the same name. So, here's another brief note. Darkness swirls at the center of a world-renowned dance company, one that will engulf the artistic director, an ambitious young dancer, and a grieving psychotherapist. Some will succumb to the nightmare, others will finally wake up.
Okay. So this movie is insane. It's got 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is a little bit harsh. But I can also understand sort of why it's a little bit difficult for people to accept as a film. But because it just the original Suspiria is all like bold colours, like big strawberry jam and blueberry-aid flavours. Walls and stuff.
Blueberry flavoured walls.
But then this film's like, well, let's go bold in everything else but the colour. Like the special effects, like the dancing is insanely sort of in your face. The horror really is grotesque, but in a sort of fantastic way. Everything's and even the plot is so thick and sort of like bombastic in a way. But,
viscous.
Yeah, some viscous plot. It's heady. It's like a really thick custard. It takes a lot of sort of digging into to get to the pie.
Yeah, and you feel like you're sinking into it. If we're going to stick with this. Like, imagine a man lying on a giant custard tart, right? Just imagine that. Yeah. Lying on it, and he's slowly sinking into it, just like, oh god, he can't really move.
And if you panic, you sort of ruin it, because you're like, no, I don't like this.
Yeah, so you got to just let
it in sync.
You got to let it happen.
Yeah.
Do you remember that Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson? When you're sinking into the black viscous liquid.
That's this film. Yeah.
It's like that. It gets into all your. Can't breathe.
So, how did you feel? What are your initial sort of thoughts about it?
I think like everything that came before. So this was a film that I somehow missed at the cinema because I was really looking forward to it. Everything I saw of it, trailers and clips and artwork, just really got me sort of hyped for it. I did enjoy the original, but this looked like a totally different take on it. So a remake, not so much. More like I've read somewhere, I'm not sure if it was the director who said this or maybe Tilda Swinton who said it was more like a cover of the original, rather than a direct remake or a reimagining. It was like a cover of the original. So the director was putting his own spin on it in such a way, and I guess the setup is the same. Obviously, a lot of the elements are the same, but yeah, the colour's gone. It's very washed out. It's very glum.
Yeah.
Very grim looking, isn't it?
Very European.
very European, exactly. Yeah. A lot of German spoken.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's something about this which was like picking a scab. We're going to do another analogy here.
Yeah.
It was like, so you're picking away at a scab. It's like, oh bloody hell, I can't quite get in there, and it's like, oh god, I know I'm making it worse. But you keep picking away, and sometimes you're a bit like, am I enjoying this? Is this a nice experience? And other times you're like, this is a really satisfying experience.
Yeah.
I think there's loads of good performances throughout. I think the music initially, because it's strange, because I've been listening to the soundtrack obviously on its own without the film accompanying.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
For so long that it was strange to now hear the music in the context of the film, to the point where I was a bit like, it's not what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
Especially with like the main theme when it happens over the sort of start of the film, and some other songs that happen at very poignant moments. It was the only way I can describe it is like it was unnerving. It felt wrong. It felt wrong, but like you come away from it, and when you're reflecting on what you've seen, it's a bit like it was. I feel like it was great.
So it's one of those ones there's so much to it. I'm not too sure if it's a masterpiece or a masterplops. I just don't know yet. But I feel like with time, with a little bit of distance, I might look back on it and. But it was a long film, so I think that's the one of the things that sort of plays
Yeah,
against
it was long, but I think it's going to be divisive as well, because it's been compared to like Mother as being like a divisive film where some people are going to walk away saying that was utter shit, other people are going to walk away saying, well, I think that was laden with so many messages and vision and imagery that, I mean, I think it's a better film than Mother personally. It might be unfair to compare the two.
I think I need to watch Mother again, but in it, like, just the tone and what they were going for with this, I feel like it resonates with me more than Mother did initially. Mother rubbed me the wrong way initially.
Mother, you've rubbed me the wrong way again.
You pushed my hair against the grain,
son. Yeah, there were so many bits in this where I was a bit like, I was watching scenes, and it wasn't necessarily particularly horror scenes.
Yeah,
there are some dance scenes, or some other scenes where I was like, kind of just cringing, waiting for something, horrific to happen. Not necessarily like a body horror moment or just something that was like out of left field.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's spooky, man. So, it's spooky, this film.
Even thinking back, like, I'm not completely sure what happens in the film. Like, I had to watch a couple of like explainer videos afterwards to sort of go through it a bit with me. Because
it's definitely a film where you can kind of make your own mind up about it, but at the same time, that might not be necessarily what even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes I like to watch those videos to kind of like, not to confirm what I was thinking, but kind of maybe like nudge me in the right direction sometimes, because it's easy to get confused.
Yeah. Well, so should we have a little dig into the meat of the story? So, well, key players, Dakota Johnson is Susie Banyan, who is pretty much doing exactly what the main character from the original did. She's a dancer from America. She's arrived in Berlin, and she wants to dance.
She's ready to throw the shapes, basically.
Yeah. Tilda Swinton plays Madame Blanc, who's the sort of the head dance instructor, but she's also a witch on the side.
Yep.
She also plays two other characters, which I don't think it even tells you at first that she's playing them. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, what did that add? What did that bring to the film? Or what does it mean, I guess? Maybe more. Dr. Joseph.
That she was on it. She was just like, oh, fuck this, I'll play three characters, you mugs.
Busy, yeah. She played Dr. Joseph Klemperer, who was, what's it, like a psychiatrist.
And allegedly, she wore a prosthetic penis while she played him. I'm not even joking. You think I'm joking, but I'm not.
No, I believe you. I could tell, really, to be honest. And she also plays one of the other witches, Mother Helena Marcos, who looks like she's going to grow up to make costumes for the Incredibles at some point. She's got that, whatever that woman's called, you know what I mean? With the glasses.
Exactly.
Mia Goth plays a sort of secondary protagonist in a way. Again, her character follows very much what I guess her original character did in the original film as well. And there's a smattering of other characters, other people.
So there's loads of witches.
Loads of dancers.
Or like dance teachers. There's a load of dancers. It's a very, very female-heavy cast. I think we get maybe two male characters, like some policemen in it at some point later.
And they get embarrassed.
And they get ever so embarrassed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what do you think that means? What do you think the cast is like? Pretty much entirely. Were there any male characters in the original?
Yeah. Udo Kier is a guy. There's a blind piano teacher, piano player, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a few people. But this is weird because it's all female, apart from those two policemen who only appear briefly, really. And then there's Tom York singing over them all. I'm a man.
I'm a man. Can't you tell I'm a man by my voice?
Yes. Men are better. Yeah, but it's.
I mean, it is like. I mean, Tom York's music is like mesmerizing in this film.
So
it's like it's not a horror score.
No, not at all. Well, the Fangoria category I sort of voted for Tom York's soundtrack is the best soundtrack of the year for me. I do think it's
closely
fantastic.
Followed by the Halloween score, I think.
Yeah.
Which I think was awesome. Yeah. But yeah, it's not necessarily a horror score, but it is just a really mesmerizing.
And every now and again, it sort of does. I think there's one bit where they're dancing, and he sort of plays on the original Goblin jingles. You know, the I don't know how it goes off the top of my head. You just, picture it. You do the work.
Yeah, some of the weird, like, prog rock electro.
Something like that, anyway. So the story's told in 5 acts and an epilogue, I think, off the top of my head. Act 1 is all about, we start off with Chloë Gross Moretz, who is running away. I think she's...
Yep.
At one point she says that they've taken my urine. Is this like they gave me sleep and now they're taking my urine?
And they're taking my urine and they've taken my hair. I'll be like, Jesus Christ, doesn't seem like a fair trade.
No, yeah.
Taken my urine.
Yeah.
Am I at least able to pee it out myself, or is it just?
Well, I think she did, and then she saw them going into the toilet after her and come out with like a
come out with like a
like
plastic bag.
A petrol. Plastic
Yeah,
bag.
yeah.
Just like
someone siphoned out the toilet.
Yeah. So she's basically explaining to Dr. Joseph Klemperer, the psychiatrist, there's a ton of witches in that place, and I'm getting out of here.
Getting out of here, fool.
I think she disappears again, but she gives him her notebook, and it's full of stuff. We get like all diagrams about witches and witch hierarchies. Madame Blank's name keeps popping up in there. Madame Marcos, who's we don't know too much about yet.
Yeah. There's a whole load of them, and they all got their finger in the witchy pie.
Yeah. So then we get to what's her face, Susie pops up.
Yeah.
She joins the academy. It's raining, just like it was in the original film.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very similar. It's proper run down and grey and miserable, doesn't it? This dance academy, really. So yeah, Did Patricia in her diary also mention like the Free Mothers? There was like detail of the Free Mothers. So Mater Tenebarum, who's Lacrimarum, and Suspiriorum.
Which so it links into Dario Argento's original trilogy, the Free Mothers trilogy, Suspiria, Tenebrae, and one that isn't called Lacrimarum. I can't remember what it's called.
Or like the Book of... No, I don't know.
Yeah, so one of them. Yeah, sort of that kind of thing.
It's called something like that. Should have done our research, babe.
Yeah, but so right away, so Susie wants to audition to be in this like really fancy dance academy, and we don't really know why she's there. But as she starts to dance, right away, it's not like normal dancing. It's not like dancing in liquid or mosh or like a your standard Friday night dance off.
Yeah,
it's
very it's like it's expressionistic. It's
a bit of a rain dance
abstract.
Sort of feel to it.
Abstract. It's like
humpy.
Odd. It's like to the most humpy. It's to the most like minimal music as well. Like it's not like there's no percussion. There's no beat as such. It's very like very strange.
They do the body pop in and
there's a lot of body pop in. There's a lot of lying down on the ground.
Line dancing as well.
Arms doing line dancing. They do the floss.
Yeah.
At one point.
They do all. But right away we get the feeling that, which I feel like this film really nails something that the original didn't, is that dancing is the way they sort of cast spells, like in the sort of way that rain dancers used to do to get rain. The way they move sort of affects the world around them, and it's an interesting sort of take on witchcraft and witchery and stuff.
Witchery
craftery, and Susie does a couple of moves, and Madame Blanc pops in and she's like, yes, and she does the old Simon Cowell. Press the not the X.
I don't like it. I love it.
Yeah, and then it gets like a little backstory of Susie, tragic upbringing and all that.
Tragic upbringing. Mother passed away in a. Is she from Ohio?
Yeah,
she's from Ohio, so lived on a farm. For some reason, she loved a bit of Berlin. We get like a flashback, and she's writing something, and she's written the word Berlin down.
Berlin.
I love Berlin.
And then her name next to it.
Yeah.
She's crushing.
And her mum's like, "Who's this bloody Berlin?" Then she's like, "It's a wonderful place." Mental.
So, and then so she's in. So Patricia, she ran away from the dance troupe, and Susie, she's done a couple of moves and she's in. But it's not like she's just in. They're like, whoa now.
Whoa, man.
She's really rocking something here. And so, I guess what happens now? So they just...
So there's a character called Olga who sort of has a bit of a Barney with Madame Blanc in front of everybody. I think she's kind of like annoyed with her because she thinks she had something to do with Patricia going missing.
Yeah.
And Madame Blanc's like, Patricia pissed off to join what'd she say, like a rival group or some, like an army or something.
Well, yeah. So there's the whole Berlin Wall thing happening, and she's gone to be like a revolutionary or something.
Yeah. But then Olga just says, you're all slags, you're all witches.
Full of shit. She gets the face on, yeah.
Yeah, she gets the face on. She storms out, and she's like, packs her stuff, ready to leave the academy. But then we're sort of seeing the first witchy moments, which are where Madame Blanc sort of like touches Susie's feet and hands, and they're kind of like glow. They kind of
it's
glow.
Like when your hands are cold and like they've got blood in them, and then you press your fingers against them.
Yeah.
And then you get like your finger marks, like pale marks. It's like that, but like doubled up. So she starts to do the dance, like the protagonist of the Volk dance.
Yeah, so Volk is the Academy's most well-known piece.
Yeah,
and I guess they need a lead. So was Chloë Moretz's character, was she the lead previously?
She must have been, I guess. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. So she starts doing the dance, and then Olga, while she's trying to leave the academy, ends up stumbling into or just walking into like this mirrored room.
It's like when you've gotten home after a few too many drinks, and you're sort of trying to find the toilet, and you're like leaking all over the floor. you sort of, you know what I mean? Banging your head on the sink. It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, but this is like the most horrific thing I think I've seen in a good while. This is quite difficult to watch.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments where this was dodgy. So basically, upstairs, we assume it is upstairs. Is it above the...
It's like a hidden room, isn't it?
Yeah.
She gets lured in by voices.
So I think that I felt like the dancing was happening above and the mirrored room was below. That's what I kind of got
Yeah.
That's what I kind of felt.
Yeah.
So while Susie's kind of dancing and doing all her standard moves and stuff,
her
moves are being replicated by Olga, but she obviously doesn't want it to be...
Yeah, but like,
against her will.
Yeah, and it kind of throws her around. She twists around. She's like being wrenched, like a crusty flannel. Like
she's being wrenched around like a crusty flannel. I mean,
there's like it's horrific. There's like juices squeezing out of her. There's I don't know. She doesn't look like she's having a good time at all. It's like someone like Susie's dancing was like the computer. It's like a dance game, and that's the computer on hard mode. And it's like Olga's first go in the game, and she doesn't even have controls yet. And
her legs are like getting snapped in all these directions.
Yeah.
And her body's getting contorted, and so it's pretty horrific. She gets thrown into the glass, and there's a particularly horrible sequence where she's thrown into the glass, and it's almost like her jewels like getting pulled.
Yeah.
Too far sideways, her teeth are coming out. She looks messed up.
Yeah, and Susie's doing the old Britney thing upstairs. Yeah. So yeah,
the whole Britney thing. Yeah, and she kind of gets bent and contorted in ways that the human body shouldn't go. You hear bones going, all this shit. At one point, she's in a horrible position and like just pisses her pants.
Yeah. But at the end of it, like she's just a heap of flesh mangled.
There's loads. She drools as well. At one point, loads of horrible gunk comes out of her mouth.
Yeah, it's not. Well, yeah, it's like stomach acid. I don't know what it is. I don't want to know. But then all the witches, or like the teachers, just wander in with like hooks and just start like hooking her, and then they carry her away to God knows where.
Yeah, a bit harsh, isn't it?
Bit harsh, yeah. So, and that's fairly early in the film, I think.
Yeah. So basically, she looks like, imagine a woman lying in bed on her front, and then suddenly the bed is one of those folding ones that just folds in like that, folds her in half the wrong way. That's pretty much
what happens to her. Yeah,
that's what happens to her. Yeah.
So I guess from here on out, she starts to spend time with Sarah, She starts to make friends with that one without eyebrows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mia Goth's character.
Yeah. So I guess now it sort of follows her a bit. It follows Mia Goth's character a bit more because she starts to see the doctor, the psychiatrist, and because the psychiatrist is like, something's happened to my patient. She owes me. She's not paid her invoices.
Yeah.
So he's hunting her down, but he starts to sort of look into the dance academy a bit more. And then what? So Mia Goth, she does the whole counting steps thing, like she did in the original film.
Yeah. So she basically says that she's gonna like investigate, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And she does like some counting steps thing and find some like hidden chambers and rooms. I guess she does. Does she do the counting steps thing just based on what she can hear around the?
Yeah, I think she counts steps that she can hear at night time of the teachers going around, and then she follows them into the back room. Is that what? No, it's not yet. But she goes back there a little later on and then finds.
Yeah, so there's like all these sort of like weird relics, various paintings on the wall of like Madame Blanc and like somebody else with like Elton John glasses on. Yeah. So I don't think much sort of happens there. Around about a similar time, the witches kind of all vote for who they think should be their new leader, don't they?
Yeah.
Leader of the coven.
Yeah.
Coven? Is that Coven? Coven?
Yeah.
So it's basically between Mother Marcos and Blanc, but Marcos basically gets voted in, democracy, over Blanc, and Blanc's fuming. She's absolutely Fred.
Yeah.
And
she's
basically
after Blanc's it. She wants
Blanc's it. She wants to Blanc's it.
Marcos is there to remain. I can't get to
remain in the coven.
Yeah.
It's a clusterfuck, basically. So yeah, they basically discuss the conspiracy to use Susie's body basically as a host body for Marcos.
Yeah.
Because she's old and withered,
smelly.
And then there's also another moment where one of the witches just stabs herself in the throat during a meal, didn't she?
Is that because she doesn't want that to happen? She's like, I like Susie as well.
I like Susie. I've only met her once, but she's got some cracking moves. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stab myself in the throat.
Yeah.
And she just stabbed herself in the throat.
That
was pretty horrific. I was fine when these things happen in films. You know, when people commit suicide by just like shanking someone into their skin. Yeah. It was like, no, I'd probably just do a little one first.
Test it out first. Test it out.
Yeah, test it out. I go, I don't really want to do that. Don't really want it.
Yeah, it's not a smart way. I mean,
no.
You do it once and be like, oh, I can't carry on.
Yeah,
you're like just in pain and bleeding. It's like I have to go to the emergency room now. Bloody hell.
So around about this time, Susie is getting pretty close with Madame Blanc. Like they're spending time together. Yeah. She's coming and chilling in her room and playing Mario Kart with her.
Yeah.
They're just spending a lot of time together, talking to each other, and I guess she's trying to get close to her in order to gain her trust and manipulate her in some way. Doesn't obviously tell her, I want your body.
I want your body. Yeah. And at the same time, she's having like weird dreams, like really horrific visual, like tone poems of blood and faces, and it's really crazy stuff. Yeah.
Do you ever, I watch some of these dream sequences. There's so many shots, and I just think everything that must have gone into that. Some shots where there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of like these horrific visuals.
Yeah. Like special effects, like looking stuff as well. So not like just a shot of a person, but a person floating or doing something crazy.
Yeah.
It is visually pretty amazing. So it's now they get to, I think maybe in the third act now, and they do the Volk performance wearing the red pajamas, like the red frilly pajamas.
Yeah, it's like red pajamas with like loads of like climbing climbing ropes hanging off of them. Like they've gone to scale a sheer wall mountain, and they've fallen down, and then they've gone. Let's just dance.
Straight to the show.
Straight to the show.
To the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Volk music, the Volk dance itself, is pretty amazing. But go on.
What I like the most about it is that they're breathing. Like everybody's sort of like, you could sort of hear everyone sort of like heavy breathing, and it was almost like in unison. I thought that was really good. I thought that kind of added a certain rhythm to the dance that the music perhaps didn't provide.
Yeah, because the music wasn't particularly overpowering or anything at that point. It's just mainly the breathing and the slapping of feet
And the slapping of limbs and the
against the hardwood floor. It was, like a school PE session.
yeah, it did feel like that.
Yeah,
But bloody hell! Is it lunchtime yet?
Yeah. So Mia Goth is sort of back in the hidden rooms doing some research, and she stumbles across Patricia, Chloë Grace Moretz, from the start of the film. She's never escaped, but I think they're like zapping her life energy or something. She looks like she's turning into a tree. Like
a tree or a blob or a tree blob.
Yeah.
She's like she's all grey and mugged off, and I think Mia's trying to like help her escape at one point, isn't she? But then there's like some sort of weird,
there's something else
disfigured thing in there.
Yeah,
something with like no arms and legs, sort of like crawling towards. You don't really focus on it too much.
I thought that might have been another dancer or something, because I thought that was someone else that they were doing the same
thing too. Yeah, I mean that could be, potentially could be that.
Who knows?
So Mia Goth. What is Mia Goth's character's name?
Sarah. We've got a Susie and a Sarah.
Yeah. Susie and Sarah. So Sarah sort of runs out and then she like collapses. I think she like her legs just kind of like snap.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happens.
Oh yeah. So what happens? So the spell, with the dance, the Volk dance, it opens up little holes in the floor. Like you get like these little holes pop up, and then Mia steps in one and breaks her leg. Like,
I thought it was just bad maintenance.
Yeah.
I thought they needed to get DIY SOS in.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have, because she breaks the leg and it's like horrifically bad. Bones.
And she's like,
out.
"Ow! Oh, that stings!"
Bloody Nora, God, get it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but the witches come and they sort of patch her over quickly, and then they put a spell on her or something.
They kind of like touch her leg, and then suddenly it's not broken anymore. I was like, what's the point of bloody breaking it in the first place?
Well, it's broken, isn't it? But it's under the skin. Like they heal over it.
That's right. So she's like under a spell. Her eyes are kind of like a bit misty, murky, milky. And she goes and joins in the dance, but she's proper attention seeking during it, isn't she? She's going a bit OTT. Collapses.
They don't finish the dance, do they? Like I think they don't finish the spell, whatever they were trying to do.
Yeah. And Klempora, how do you say his name? The psychiatrist, aka Tilda Swinton with a prosthetic penis, jumps up, and he's like really shocked and like, what's going on here? He attends the performance for some reason. I reckon he just loves dance.
Yeah. He's like,
it's ruined!
Doing the thing.
And he does the worm down the middle of the towards them all. And they go, God, this can I join the troupe?
And everyone
like, women only!
All the audience follow him out into the street, and they're all doing the dancing.
Yeah.
And the ballerinas all the dancers are inside the class like, we lost them. The Klempora. Isn't that like a kind of Japanese food?
Yeah. I love a bit of Klempora.
Yeah.
Then we get a lot of him sort of wandering around in the snow, and then he returns to like a house that he used to live in.
Yeah.
And then like his wife turns up, who I think he presumed was dead for some reason. Is that right? She faked her death.
So I didn't know what was much happening here until I watched a couple of these YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So he thinks that she fled the country at some point a while ago.
Started a new life.
He thinks that she's alive somewhere. He doesn't know where or what she's doing. But whenever he goes back to this house, and then she's suddenly there, and it's played by the Jessica Harper, who played
the original
Suspiria woman.
Which is, I mean, that's a lovely touch, right?
I like it, yeah, and I think she plays it really, she does it perfectly as well.
It's good. It's not too obvious. Like they could have made her like one of the witches, or like another major character. But the fact they make it this character, a character that didn't exist in the original film either.
And also, I think we were going to say that it doesn't really exist in this film either, because she's almost like a trick of the imagination, and that kind of adds to the fact that like that she's from a film, like she doesn't really exist in this film to us either. Like she's just a trick of the imagination, because they're using her to lure Klempora into the academy, because he doesn't even know he's walking there. I don't think. No, like, they just walk in.
Exactly.
And he's like, I'm inside the dance thing, and there's a woman
he was in the academy before watching the show.
Yeah, they just kept him. They should have locked the door.
Yeah, they should have locked the door. Don't let him leave.
Yeah, we're gonna have together.
Yeah. They're like, we're gonna have to create an illusion now to get him back. It's like, He's here right now. Just
Yeah.
get him now.
That's a lot of effort to go to get him back. Yeah.
Maybe they're like, we can't
It's
do it
because
in front of people.
he wormed all the way out of the dance, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
gone
Someone tried to grab him at the exact moment.
Yeah.
This is pretty freaky because he stood outside the dance thing, and like two of the witches just run towards him. One of them just like screaming at him.
She's like cackling, like proper witch. Yeah. And then
To be
like
fair, that catch me off guard. I'd be like, shit.
he doesn't just run away. They go this way. Come on inside. They offer him a Pepsi Max, and he's like takes it and he walks in. It's nice in here. Yeah.
It's a multi-pack can.
So then we get like this is building to like the final, like the bit where I was kind of watching TV, like what is going on? Because it suddenly takes a turn for extreme craziness. Like it's kind of subtle most of the way, but then this is just like
craziness, unbelievable, like gore.
Yeah.
Just pretty much madness. So Susie like returns to the academy, and she's led to this. There's like a ritual taking place in the middle of this like chamber.
Yeah.
So they've got like Klempura captured, naked, lying at the top of this plinth.
He's the witness or something like that.
The witness, Marcos herself, like the queen witch. Well, can't say queen, but the head witch. The what word am I thinking? The big kahuna, but she's all like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, with sunglasses, with like Ray. What's his name? Ray Davis. What's his name? The blues singer.
Yeah. Ray.
What's his name? Ray Charles. Yeah. Ray Charles sunglasses.
Confusing. Ray Charles' sunglasses. She got cataracts, I reckon.
Which again, I think that's a nice little nod to the original. I'm sure the blind piano teacher wears those sort of things. Yeah. Doesn't he? Maybe I made that up. And all the ballerina, not ballerinas, the dancers. I don't know what the difference is. They're all nude, shaking what God gave them.
There's a lot of So it's a very like ritualistic sort of. It looks like they're offering someone up.
Yeah.
And some of them begin to disembowel Sarah as well to begin this ritual or this Sabbath as such. It's very satanic, isn't it?
Yeah. So Madame Blanc is like, no, I don't think we should do it. But Susie's like, yeah, I'm up for this. I'm happy to give my heart to, Yeah.
Marcos. So it seems like, Susie's been, manipulated, and she's probably not quite herself, perhaps in a bit of a trance, and that's why she's willing to give herself up to the witches. But Madame Blanc has a change of heart, whether she's feels something for Susie, perhaps, or doesn't